Hello and welcome to the show. We're back on Forza 7 building another Rallycross car. Our vehicle of choice today is the Lincoln Continental that has come to Forza 7. I'll be honest, I would have preferred the big old barge Lincoln, but this is what we have, so I'm gonna see if it's any good. Be quite the embarrassment if it happens to go and beat the Impreza, but well, we will go and see. Don't really know what to expect because I haven't driven the car yet, so there we go. Time for the upgrades. It comes as all-wheel drive, so we don't have to worry about swapping that, which is good. While, as per the rules of this series, I'm not allowed to change the engines unless we can't get to the top of the PI. I am curious as to what we can get in here. 6.2 V8. 5.2 V10. Okay. I mean, the V8 I'm not surprised by because that goes in just about everything. However, yeah, the V10's an interesting addition, but there we go. Right, by the looks of that power graph, I'd imagine this thing is turbocharged. Don't know very much about the new Continent. It's not something that will ever make its way to England, so it's not something that I know very much about. I don't think it's a bad-looking car. The rear is a little bit weird. Don't mind the look of the front of it. I mean, it's a decent amount of power from standard. What, 400 horsepower from standard? So not too shabby at all. Right, so we're building it up to S-Class, and as we have seen, we're going to be wanting grip. The circuit, while yes, does involve a couple of dirt corners, it is predominantly tarmac. Pretty decent tyres all round as well. Quite heavy though, that's probably going to be its main problem. Yeah, while there is a little bit of dirt to be dealing with, and there certainly is time to be made up on that section, we need the car to be good through some of the very technical sections. Actually, I don't even know why I'm building through all of this stuff. I'm building cars wonky today, apparently. Not that that's going to make a huge amount of difference to the PI. I tell a lie. That makes a huge difference. Go back to there. We might change you later. Do you have a silly gearbox? Is that the problem? We will find out, I have no doubt, all in due time. The Impreza that we have, what is our current leader here, was not the most ridiculously powerful of vehicles. I think what's going to let this car down is it's just going to be too heavy. I think it's even going to be heavier than the Kia Stinger. £3,600 isn't awful. I say it's not awful. I mean, it's not as bad as the Dodge Durango, but it's a fair amount of weight going on in this. That is a fair amount of weight. Now, will the engine be... We can get out another almost £100 with that exhaust. I'm not massively convinced that this engine is going to get to the top of S-Class. However, I'm going to give it a go. We will give it a try. Now, the biggest power gains, of course, come from the camshaft, 82 horsepower in this case, and the turbos, which we haven't got to. Okay, power's starting to creep up now. Slowly, but it's starting to get up towards it. Turbos, I'm hoping for some good things from you. I'm hoping for plenty of power, otherwise we will. Okay, there we go. That's more like it. That's much more like it. That's a lot of power from those turbos. 242. I mean, I know it's twin turbo and everything, but there are not actually that many cars that get that bigger a gain from upgrading the turbos. So what we're going to do is maybe play around with some other stuff, and we'll get the PI back down again. 802. We'll probably just take a tiny smidge off of it. Do we have anything that's a tiny smidge? Valves are normally a tiny smidge. There we go. Perfect. 799 horsepower in our Continental. I mean, that's a good amount of power. That is a good amount of power. Again, not quite as powerful as the Durango, but it is a much lighter. I say much lighter. It is a lighter car. I reckon it'll take about 200. Oh god, I reckon its 0 to 60 time is 2.7 seconds. That would scare some very, very expensive hypercars. I can just imagine. We've all done the silly drag races on Forza. Lincoln Continental out dragging, yeah. Rarest, most expensive of hypercars. Fantastic. Whether it'll actually do that or not in I guess, like little real-world tests is anyone's guess. We can't actually get any of these parts on. Nope, it's at the top of its PI. That's a massive amount of PI for gearbox in that. It's a very, very large amount. I know for adjustable ratios, but if it's topping out 210, I'm not going to need it. Either way, I think our car is ready. Ready to go. Could it throw up a surprise? Could it beat the Impreza? So, of course, to test out the vehicle, we have come to the Virginia International Raceway South layout, where I'm going to have 5 laps to try and go as fast as possible. The Impreza's time, 1:14.3, was a massive leap away from the rest of the field, and that is, I would imagine, going to be quite difficult to beat. A 15.2 is the time set by a Lancia 037. The more comparable car for the Continental here, a 16.8 set by the Kia Stinger. If we are... yeah, if we beat the Kia Stinger, we'll probably be doing pretty well. I'm not sure this is going to be getting near the Subaru, the Lancia, or the Audi. Oh, this thing's weird. What is with the... I don't like the dash. I'm going to have a crash because I'm fascinated by the most peculiar of dashboards I ever did see. What? Sorry, I could just park up and stare at them. That's really weird. I don't like it. I don't like it. Why is there no information? No, stop looking at the very bizarre... it looks like a sort of a submarine. It looks like one of the submarine screens that you see in films where they're like tracking... like the sonar screens is what that is. Why is there a sonar screen trying to track my speed on my Lincoln? It doesn't make any sense to me. Ooh, it's also a bit oversteery. That's not really the intended line through there, but, you know, I guess if it works, it works. I don't know if we want first. Probably don't want first. It's surprisingly oversteer. I mean, it's a naturally all-wheel drive car, this one, and they tend not to have, well, big... snappy oversteer moments, funnily enough. Sometimes when you convert cars in this game, they can get a little bit uncomfortable, especially front-wheel drive cars with weird, snappy oversteer moments. But, yeah, that seems a little bit unusual, but, you know, there we go. Right, first lap. Yeah, again, that's out of that corner as well. I wonder if that's just where, like, perhaps with the... oh, God, don't look at the... still fascinated by the dashboard, I'm sorry. I wonder if that's where the turbos sort of kick in all of a sudden and then it's just a sudden lunatic wheel spin. Oh, it's pretty quick down the straight, 160 miles an hour. Actually not bad under brakes, I will give it that much. That's not too shabby at getting slowed down. It was 164 miles an hour? So quicker than the Subaru, not so surprising with the amount of power that it does have in here. Okay, just about slow it down there. Now, onto the grass we go. We saw last time out with the Impreza. The trick is to be as, well, kind of as slow-most on the way in, although that's a little bit very shonky on the way out, actually. That's all a mess as well. Yeah, you kind of got to be quite slow on the way into these corners because it's the exit that's the important part, although that's a little bit too slow, and not a good exit! I knew something was going to hit the time bundle eventually. Yeah, this lap's all gone terribly, terribly wrong. It's all a mess. And now we'll just take out a signpost for good measure. So the laptop was bleeping at me. I was worried it stopped the recording, hence why I wasn't quite looking where I was going. It's fine. The recording's fine, but the fact that you're hearing this would suggest that the recording is fine still. Otherwise, we'd have to start again or something. But I digress. It's been a couple of scrappy laps with the Continental. Don't look at the... I just can't look at that dashboard, otherwise we just get distracted by it completely. Nope, I'm not looking. I'm not looking. I'm waiting to spot a braking point here. Oh, there's a little bit of moving around from the back of the car, actually, as we get on the brakes there. Nothing too terrible. Honestly, considering the car is so heavy, it's actually quite lively through the corners. I was just expecting it to be almost numb through the corners. That's what you expect. But this is not designed to be a race car. This is designed to be a very comfortable place to be, I think. I think that's the purpose of the Continental. So I was not expecting it to be, yeah, amazingly exciting through the corners, especially not considering the weight in comparison to the fast cars that have gone in this series. But yeah, it's actually not doing a terrible job of being a fun car to drive. It's changing direction pretty well. I think I was too sideways on the way in to that kind of hairpin area. Don't run wide on the exit. Yeah, it hasn't quite got the ultimate grip through there. It's not surprising. I mean, other than the Quattro, I don't think we've had many cars that have been flat out through that turn. It's quick accelerating and heavy, so it's carrying a lot of speed towards the corner and then heavy when you try to tackle it. 16.7 from the Continental will put it faster than the Kia already, and we have got 2 more laps to go. That was a little dicey on the way into the first corner. There was just a small little panic as I sort of edged my way tighter on the way because I really didn't think we were going to be stopping that one. Yeah, I'm now starting to really push my luck with this car. That's been very, very close. But you do need to push your luck a little bit. Of course, around a circuit like this, play it as close to the tyre bundles as you can get. Just don't want to hit them, and we've been very, very close in a couple of different locations so far this lap. Now, it's not... that transition through the hairpin just doesn't... I can't get it right in this car. I really can't quite get the Continental through there very well. I'm not sure... I mean, I'm not doing anything massively different in this than I have in the previous cars that have gone in this series. It doesn't quite feel as happy going through there as some of the other vehicles. It's quite long and it is quite heavy. At the end of the day, it's quite heavy. Having been blessed with driving this Subaru last time, although it's a 15.9, we're only a tenth of a second away from an Audi Quattro. If we can get everything right on this final lap, could we see a... I mean, it's not quite a beating the Impreza turn up for the books. However, beating the Quattro with a car like this would, I think, be pretty bloody good going. Not as good through that first sector. Now, it's around this bit here, I think I was very quick last time. I don't even know if I want second gear. Feels like first and second in this are very, very short, which is a little bit less than ideal. I think third's going to be too long, especially with this thing being big twin turbos. I don't think second's going to get us out. Third, sorry, is going to get us out of the hairpin. Now I'm trying a different approach. No, I've done the... It wasn't fast enough on the way in to all of that. I thought I'd judged it to perfection so I could then boot it and straight line it out, but I just didn't slide far enough through the corner. It's not going to beat the Quattro, I am afraid. Hairpin. That hairpin is where it all comes a little bit undone with this car. I mean, I made mistakes, absolutely, in there, but things like the Impreza, the Lancia are much easier to get through that section. This, it doesn't quite like that. That part of the course, you know, I'm not massively surprised. At the end of the day, it's actually done a much better lap time than I was expecting the vehicle to be able to do. I think I figured out what's weird with the... I say what's weird with the back. It kind of looks like the back is designed for a different car to the front. I hope you can see what I mean when you look at it from side on. I think that makes the most sense. Because, yeah, I don't actually dislike the front at all, but there we go. I digress. Lap time. Yes. The Continental, well, it is impressive. It will go into a 4th place. A tenth of a second down on the Audi Quattro, beating the Dodge Omni, the Dodge Durango, convincingly beating the Kia Stinger and far faster than the Ford Woody. No, it's not going to be as fast as the Impreza, and I wouldn't expect it to be. There's a fairly technical circuit here, and the Continental is pretty damn heavy, but it does do a much better job than I ever expected it to. It's actually pretty nice to drive around this circuit, and it is a damn sight more lively than I was ever expecting the big, luxury, comfortable place to be. So, we will finish with some celebratory donuts. I think it is definitely worthy of some of those. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.